Once upon a time, in the heart of the American Southwest, there was a town named Dusty Gulch. Dusty Gulch was a place that time seemed to have forgotten, with its tumbleweeds, creaky saloons, and sun-baked streets. The town had a unique and peculiar character, as it was home to a colorful mix of humans, animals, and all sorts of creatures. It was a place where stories came to life, and where the line between reality and myth often blurred. In this quirky desert town lived a small, eccentric chameleon named Rango. Rango was not your average chameleon. He had a wild imagination and an insatiable thirst for adventure. He often daydreamed about being a hero, a legendary gunslinger, or a brave explorer. However, Rango's reality was far from the grand tales he spun in his mind. Rango's days were spent lounging on the sun-soaked rocks, blending into his surroundings and trying to fit in with the residents of Dusty Gulch. He was a loner, always on the outskirts of the town's social circles. But deep down, he longed for something more than just blending into the background. He wanted to be seen, to be recognized for his uniqueness, and to live a life of purpose. One particularly scorching day, Rango decided it was time to chase his dreams. He wanted to embark on an adventure that would make him a legend in Dusty Gulch, a name known to all. With a skip in his step and a glint of determination in his eyes, he made his way to the town square, where the townsfolk gathered to share stories and gossip. Rango stood on a makeshift stage and declared to the townspeople, "I, Rango, am going on an epic quest to find the lost city of gold. I shall return with riches and stories that will make your heads spin." The crowd burst into laughter. The notion of a timid chameleon setting off on such a grand adventure was absurd to them. Undeterred, Rango packed a tiny satchel with dried crickets, cacti water, and a hand-drawn map he had created the night before, outlining his journey to the lost city of gold. With a dramatic flourish, he put on a small, battered cowboy hat and walked out of Dusty Gulch, leaving behind the laughter and skepticism of the townsfolk. Rango's journey was as wild and unpredictable as the desert itself. He encountered ferocious rattlesnakes, crafty coyotes, and wise old tortoises who shared their wisdom with him. He navigated treacherous canyons, endured sandstorms, and even found himself lost in a vast desert with nothing but his trusty map to guide him. As the days turned into weeks, Rango's determination was tested. Doubt crept into his mind, and he began to question whether he would ever find the fabled lost city of gold. He missed the familiar rocks of Dusty Gulch, the simple life he had known, and the safety of blending in. He was lonely, hungry, and tired. One evening, as he lay under a starry sky, Rango was joined by a wise and weathered roadrunner named Rosita. She had been watching him from a distance and had seen his struggles. Rosita told Rango that the lost city of gold was not a physical place, but a state of mind, a journey of self-discovery. Rango was taken aback by her words. He had been so focused on becoming a hero that he had overlooked the hero within himself. With Rosita's guidance, he realized that he didn't need a city of gold to be a legend. He needed to embrace his uniqueness, his quirks, and his imagination. He needed to return to Dusty Gulch not as a changed chameleon, but as a chameleon who had found himself. With newfound determination, Rango retraced his steps, heading back to the town he had left behind. He returned to Dusty Gulch with a heart full of wisdom and the knowledge that he didn't need to be someone else to be special. He was already unique in his own way, and that was enough. The townspeople of Dusty Gulch were surprised to see Rango return. They expected him to be defeated and broken, but instead he walked into town with a confident stride and a warm smile. He no longer felt the need to be a hero in their eyes. He was a hero in his own heart. Over time, Rango's story spread through the town like wildfire. He had become a legend, not because of the riches he brought back, but because of the lesson he had learned and shared with the town. He had found the lost city of gold within himself, and in doing so, he had found his true place in the world. Dusty Gulch, once a place where time seemed to have forgotten, became a place where dreams were nurtured and uniqueness was celebrated. Rango's journey had transformed not only himself, but the entire town. It was a place where stories came to life, and where reality and myth coexisted, But now, it was a place where every resident, just like Rango, could be a legend in their own way. And so, in the heart of the American Southwest, in a quirky desert town named Dusty Gulch, the legend of Rango, the chameleon who found the lost city of gold within himself, lived on for generations to come. If you liked this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe our channel as well as press the bell icon.